getting started.
Are you the one who's bumping this?
Yeah, if you came
Here we go. So start it over.
I like this a
On
lot.
Morningwood Radio today, live with Nate, the Turnip King. Offer. Here we go. Here's his new song, The Takeover.
This is the takeover. We just getting started. Put your hands up in the air if you came here to party. This is the takeover. Tell them the wait's over. We done the party.
Dude, this is you?
Yes, sir.
Dude, that's really good.
Thank you. Thank you.
What the hell? Dude, I had
Do
no
the
clue
breakdown.
that you were into this.
This is the takeover.
Shout out to Eddie Wayne, my dog.
This is the
All right. Hello. We are live. That was Nate Offer's song called The Takeover. Now, Nate, you wrote and Eddie produced it, but you wrote all the lyrics and wrote all the rhymes of that breakdown, right? Tell us a little about your song here.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So shout out to my guy. Well, first, thank y'all for having me on here. I definitely appreciate that. Shout out to my guy Eddie Wayne. He produced and engineered this. But yeah, me and my guy Eddie, we knew each other for a long time, and we never connected with each other on that level. So when he knew, hey, look, you do music. I know that he worked with people like Chris Brown and a lot of celebrities and stuff like that. So we wanted to connect them with each other, and we wanted to do something where it involved fitness, but as well as affirmations and sending out a positive message to push people to go after their goals and to get after it. So we said, hey, we're gonna bring this thing. We're gonna start off with a message that this is the takeover because that's what we're coming to do. So.
It's crazy. The last two shows that we've done had people that were producing and making music, and we've never had that on our show.
Yeah.
So our other partner, Austin, he helped produce a music video. And what was the name of that one called, Ryan?
That guy was called No Apologies.
And it was really good too. I was like, wow.
Hofer and the Marine Rapper.
That's dope.
Patriot.
That's dope.
I used to freestyle when I smoked weed when I was younger.
Hey.
That's a long time ago. That's a long time ago. I used to call myself Fine Dime Brizzle. I don't know.
Hey, okay. That's over the 16. Let's go.
Dude, I was lit. I was so good. Man, it's so good to have you on the show, man. I know that we've been trying to connect this thing for a while.
Yeah.
I've got a ton of questions, but I mean, honestly, let's just start right from where we were just at. Like, you're a man of many talents. Like, you also have to be really courageous to get out there and put your voice on a record and have it out there for everybody. Have you always been that way? Because I used to be a musician. I played music for 9 years, and then I just stopped. It's one of my biggest regrets. And having something you take like that, you create, you produce, you put out there in the world for people to appreciate, but then also there's the opportunity for people to be like, how long you been doing that for? Tell us a little bit about it.
So the funny story with all of that is I got into music honestly by I want to say in a way an accident, and in a way that everything happens for a reason. But when I was younger, I never could express myself to females the way that I wanted to. So
we've all been there. Exactly.
So I got into poetry, and then I got into writing music, where every girl that I liked, I would write a song for her. And it worked. It started working. So they were like, yo, man, like you really got an ear for this. And so that actually, I was telling Ryan that basically I actually got into music before really fitness. I was doing music, and really, pursuing that, pushing that. But then, when everything started taking off with the fitness career and all that, I just seen a bigger scale where, I never wanted to just be, hey, I'm making hits for the city or hits for something just local. I always thought bigger and thought worldwide. So I wanted to hit a global scale. So I said, you know what? I could build this platform with the fitness lane and reach, more of the masses and then revisit it. And so now that's kind of the phase that, we're at now, where, grew the social media following and, got it really out there, traveled to a lot of places. So now kind of revisiting that first love of music again.
Two things I want to say. One, you should read about Jesse Itzler, the guy.
I study him.
Yeah, dude, that he did the same exact thing. I mean, he kind of got into music and he started to make all these theme songs and stuff for like, basketball games. I was like, right? I feel like that would be right up your lane. That was I got his book 30 Days of Living with a Seal a long time ago. And once I found out about that, I was like, damn, this dude's real. Like this is just a cool ass dude. That's a huge risk to take. Yeah, I played trombone for 9 years, saxophone.
Oh, that's dope.
Trumpet, clarinet. Like I was so into music, and then total opposite. You were doing music for girls. As soon as I found out about girls, I stopped playing music. I was like, this ain't gonna pan out because, dude, we had so much fun. I originally got into band because I was like, wait a second, you're telling me I can take a couple periods out of the day and not be in school?
Facts.
And thanks, Austin, for commenting. And honestly, then all of a sudden you find out about girls. They're like, they're not going to come in this room, so I got to get out of here.
Screw this.
So tell me, like, if you had to give me a pie chart of what your life looks like right now, like how much of it is music, dance, fitness, like where are you
Personal
really kind of juggling things? Personal trainer. I mean, it's all included, but
growing your online fitness community with your every Wednesday night dance studios. Tell us about that.
Trust me, I want to get into the dancing.
Yeah, so definitely I would say the as far as like the fitness, like training, doing your program and everything, that's probably number one priority right now, because that's just, I always go, all right, where's your heart at? And that's something that I love competing. I love, the feeling of feeling like, the athlete that you felt like back in high school and stuff. So that's number one for sure. Then I would probably say, I don't want to label it just only music, because I like to just say creative, because I like, I'm a very advocate when it comes to like, one of my goals is pursuing, film and acting and things of that. So I like to use all all of that together as
your
one
artist chapter.
Yeah, artist chapter, exactly. And then I will say, right under, very close, right under that is the dance fitness, because that's just something that personally, it just comes the easiest as far as like, being able to step on a stage and engage with people, no matter the number, whether if it's 5 people or 5,000. That's just something that I believe, everybody's blessed with certain gifts. And, that's one of the ones I'm grateful to be blessed with.
Since I'm most curious about it, I will admit I have 2 left feet. How did you learn how to dance? Like, where did it come from? Was it a family thing? Was it a class that you took in middle school and then it went from there? Like, what was that like?
So, funny story, just like with the music.
I did the side-by-side on Instagram, and then you got into this little dance interlude between the next one. I was like, well, I definitely can't bop the hips or like rock the hips in between.
I was watching the videos. I was like,
just kind of dancing.
First, I was like, I got to learn a little bit more about this guy, and then I started watching. I was like, damn, he's good.
Yeah,
he's good.
Nah, it's it all started. So growing up, my mom would never let me go to a party. She would never let me go, like, very like, kind of religious home and things of that nature. So I couldn't go out to any parties. So in 8th grade, they had a in school party that you could go to, no parents' signatures, nothing. So I took this like I'm a 0 or 100 person. So I said, you know what? I couldn't dance. I had no rhythm, anything. So every day after school, I came home. I would put on Comcast and I would watch Michael Jackson and Chris Brown, and I would study them. I would just try to duplicate everything they did. So I basically like started teaching myself. I went to this party, turned the party up, and then that's kind of like where the
Turnip King
alter ego, the Turnip King, started was born. And it's like basically, any party I go to, I turn it up. And so
you told me that's all I got to do.
Yep. And it's because the thing is like, I mean, one, you already a vibe. So when people, feel like, man, this guy's having the most fun in the room, I just started off, I don't care what I look like. I'm just going to express myself with my movements. But then you start sharpening it up over and over again. Mm-hmm. And then, it's just, I feel like it's the same as working out and fitness. You suck when you first start, but then you keep working at it and you get better. So that's kind of what happened with the dance fitness world as well.
That's awesome, dude. Ryan, I feel like the only time I ever talk to you and you're blowing your nose is directly on the show. You're a crazy person.
It's
Every
in the morning.
time
I did get Claritin. I'm trying to not
every
have
time
a
we're on
cold.
the show, when we first started, he would do it straight into the microphone. I was like, Ryan, you know that everybody can hear this. And now he's getting better at picking up.
There we
But
go.
I got to tease the dude.
The street one, yeah.
So let's just say, I mean, obviously, 8th grade, we're talking here. You're starting to practice and everything. Was there immediately a section where you were like, this is going to be a part of my life beyond just dancing for girls?
No, not at the whole it turning into the dance fitness world was not planned, was not nothing on my mindset. Back then, my whole goal was I'm going to the NFL. That was my whole, mindset back then. Was just focused on training for football, running track. That was my whole mindset really. And really when that didn't pan out, though, I had a couple knee injuries and stuff like that. So when that didn't really pan out, that's when I got into the gym and I started working out. And once again, I used to always work out and I dance between my sessions. And so a girl came up to me while I was in the gym and was like, "Hey, I'm a Zumba instructor. You should come to my, check out my class." So I said, I'll check it out. So I went in there and, she was, doing a lot of feminine moves. So I turned them all like hip hop, masculine, stuff like that. And so all the ladies in the class were, looking at her, but they was also like, dang, it's a guy in here that actually can dance a little bit. So they left the class. They went to the owner and was like, if he taught here, I would come to every one of his classes. So the owner, being the businessman that he is, he said, I'll pay for you to get your license to be a Zumba instructor if you'll teach here. So I said, I'm down. I don't care. And so I did it. And then from there, my first class was packed and it's just grew from there.
I'll admit that hasn't happened to me yet, but I still think about it every day. I think they're going to walk up to me like, dude, you and those cheeks, you need to be here.
Word up.
You change the world. Yeah, I was a spin instructor. I mean, group fitness is probably the best job I've ever had in my entire life. It is incredible just to be in a room for 45 minutes, to lock in with somebody and just be like, yo, we're going to go on a journey. Yep. And then you're the person who gets to take this whole emotional experience and create it for these people, emotional and physical, because you're taking the music, which is 100% like the direction of it, and then you're getting them to move their bodies. And it's kind of just like being this orchestrator of it all. It's incredible. It's a humongous high. And then to watch people have a really good time is like the biggest part of it.
Yes, see, Nate, I'm glad you had a lot of success with that, because I had quite the opposite. I got my Beachbody instruction certification, and so I could teach insanity. And on the first class, I had the music rocking. I had the boombox in the background. The first class, I started with 15 people, and then we ended with like 3, because instead of like ramping up the slow range of like, here's the move, like it was the warm-up quote of what they gave me, but I should have probably done some modified moves, because at the end of the warm-up, the people were like, it was at Anytime Fitness. I was in the back studio, but after the warm-up, like 5 or 6 people walked out, and then another 5 walked out.
Did you cry?
I'm glad, yeah, I mean, on the inside, on the outside, I was like, what are you doing? Let's go, let's go, let's go. I was trying to be like Sean T there.
No, I hear you there. And especially, it's crazy because, so many people get so intimidated at times. Like, and it's funny, I face that a lot where that, people first, when they look, they like, man, this dude about to kill me in this class. Like, that's the first thought they get. Or they'll look at me and be like, you dance, like you, and I'm like, yeah, we get right. So it's tough, but that's why I try to tell everybody, like, you can't just base everything off of one visit, off of one time, because as an instructor, you're growing. As a person coming in there, you got to get used to that class. So like for you to just come one time and try it and leave, it's almost like you're not even giving it a fair shot type of deal.
Yeah.
Help me out here for a second. So I want to go back into this figure 8. We're going to keep on looping back and going forward. You have a very prominent physique. You do not look like a dance instructor. When I used to be a spin instructor, there was this instructor named Corey, and he was built like a dancer. I mean, he's very long and dancing around and stuff. You're a wall of a man. So where did you start to develop that kind of body? Because it sounded like you played football and it didn't work out. I'm sorry. We've all had dreams that haven't panned out as well. But were you always kind of a physically dominant kind of guy, or, how did this journey start of like taking what you had into building it into what you have now?
Yeah. So when I want to say I wasn't always like, I was always lean, basically. Like, but I was, for the longest, I was that lean that I could not put on weight to save my life. So like I graduated from high school 130 something pounds. So I was, that was,
Really?
yeah, I was 130, I was 130 like 7 pounds when I graduated high school.
Wow, dude. I thought you were going to tell me you graduated like 215.
I probably would have made it in football if I did that. I was so undersized, but I was just super fast back in high school. So like I was running like a 4.3, since my freshman year. And when I got back into the gym, that was the main thing where it's like, man, like I'm tired of being skinny. Like I'm tired of being, so I remember, the guy I was working with at the time, my mentor, he just was like, hey, listen, like, you might have to cut that dancing out for a while, and while we bulk up. And so I basically only dance when I taught my class, and that's it. So I wound up putting on, some weight. I ate whatever. Like I ain't do the whole just chicken and all that. Like I ate terrible. I ate terrible. I just trained hard. And I got up to like about like 205, but I was just looking like I was straight out of prison. Like I was like just this big old like, just
now.
Yeah, square. And then I've seen how out of breath I was getting so fast when I was teaching my class, in the first 2 songs. I'm like, all right, y'all, what a break. And I need it for me, not for them type of deal. So I shred down, got to like 175. And since then, I just always stayed now between like 175, 195. I stay between that range.
Yeah. So you're at 195 right now, 175?
So right now, yeah, I'm at 184 right now.
It's a good look. It's a good look. So I'm surprised that this kind of happened to me too. Like, I'm surprised with your talent that nobody got a hold of you in high school and was like, boy, we're putting you on a plan. Like you didn't have a coach come after you and just be like, dude, you're just raw talent. We just need to shape you.
And I think that, like even my, high school coaches wise, like they saw that I had a work ethic. So I was never that guy that like, I know so many people like to, talk about like, man, in my heyday, I was this and that. I was, I was the guy in football that I was good. I wasn't great. And the only reason why, people would consider me the reason why I started wasn't because of just pure talent. It was because I outworked everybody and I busted my butt type of deal. So I always had to literally, kind of like in track, same thing. I remember being, fast in middle school. So I came in cocky my high school year. I was like, man, I ain't running my freshman year. I'm gonna run sophomore year. I'm gonna start there. And all the people that was in the same grade, they ran their freshman year. Next year, they burning me. So, I had to dig deep with that work ethic, coming in there, running, when practice get done, stay after, run more, So I think they always noticed the work ethic, but nobody ever really like they just kind of gave me one of those things where it's like, man, he's going to do something. I don't know what it is. He's going to do something though,
Did you get the most potential award?
Yeah.
I used to get that all the time, dude. That is such a slap in the face. They're like, hey, here's something I just want you to know that you could have done something great, bitch. Like damn.
Yeah.
Why you got to do me like that?
I use it as a chip on the shoulder though, like, it's like, that's something where that's why it's always you versus you at the end of the day. Nobody gonna come rescue you. Nobody gonna come save you. You gotta be the one to be willing to do it for yourself. So,
dude, so everybody has their moment. What was your moment? Like, I'll give you an example. My moment was on a logging line in Montana when my boss almost fired me.
Yeah.
And he told me this story, this Bull of the Mountain story, which I'll give you in greater length another time. And from that day on, I recognized that I was no longer going to be the person of the past. I was going to be a totally different person. And if I could take ownership of this moment, that my life would change. And it was that conversation on that day. Did you have a moment? Like, did you have a person? Did you have a moment? Did you have something? And it usually tends to happen. I maybe it's just because I talk to more guys, but I hear these moments come from guys where they're like, this is it. This is my change day.
Yeah.
Did you have one of those?
Absolutely. It hit me in a really hard way. I feel like everybody has their times in lives where I guess you're finding yourself and things of that. My senior year in high school, I kind of went through a really rough patch, and I got kicked out of my mom's house, and basically me seeing who I am today. A lot of people wouldn't see that person or think that person could have existed back then, but I was a completely different person, and I was just I was kind of like in a bad state between a relationship, between just like, man, like things ain't panning out with the sports, all this other stuff. So I wound up, getting like deeply into like just drugs, drugs and drinking and things of that. And I remember one day I was staying with my brother, and one night, I got completely messed up. And I used to play growing up the drums at my church growing up. And so my mom, she just hit me up one random day and was like, hey, like, it was a Sunday. So I just got messed up that Saturday night. Like I'm like still messed up Sunday morning. She's like, hey, I want you to come to church today. And so I was like, today ain't the day type of deal. She was like, nah, like I want you to come. So I went, I sat all the way in the back, and they wound up asking me hey, can you come play the drums? And so I'm like, like, nah. And so, they was like, listen, we don't got a drummer today. So I'm playing, but I'm still like, I'm like, man,
You're still on Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm Saturday night. I know everybody here can tell. They could probably smell it on me, whatever. And so I'm just trying to get through the service. And so I make it to the end. They're, saying the benediction to get done. And then next thing I know, I passed out and I woke up in an ambulance going to the hospital. And when I got there, none of my boys that I was with and stuff like that, none of them, they got hit up. None of them pulled up. None of them came, nothing. And it was just my mom. It was my pastor, my sister, and all of them crying, blaming themselves. Like, where did we mess up? We try to do everything to keep him on the right track. And, for me as a man, I just feel like I'm doing everything that I'm saying, quote unquote, to make my mom proud and to make her, just make her proud. And I'm breaking her heart right here. I'm messing, and so since that day, I just feel like that I've had a second chance at life to, do things the right way and to, learn from my mistakes and learn from my past. So since that day, I gave up alcohol, gave up smoking, and just been
to this day.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's funny when you said that. I have this a section I write called Poems and Quotes. I find these moments of myself where I'm out on these long bike rides or insane moments, and this came to my head the other day. Lose no sleep over those who will not be there for you next morning.
So
don't yeah, so don't I reminded myself of that, and like it's the same exact thing. Like your homies weren't there the next morning, and you just recognize sometimes you just get so wrapped up and these people that you think are there for you, but then all of a sudden when that time really comes, shit, nobody's there. But
nobody's there, dog.
So what you had this moment, you're sober October, no more. From this point on, did you have a direction or did you just have an intention?
I would say an intention for sure. Because I still didn't know, like this was like before the dance fitness. This was before. So, none of this stuff has transpired at this moment. And so it would just like, hey, look, you meant to do something. You're meant to do something great, and we're going to figure out what it is. So from that moment, I was like, man, I'm willing to fail as many times as possible to figure out, what it is to get over this hump and to, start taking it to the next level. And so I just started, and that's when one of my guys, things just started almost lining up. One of my guys, I didn't have a job and stuff at the time. So he was like, look, I'll pay for you to get a his name was ironically his name was Eddie as well. He was like, I'll pay for you to get a gym membership if you come work out with me. And so I started working out. Next thing you know, he would have to leave, and I just was like, I don't got nothing else to do right now. So I'm staying in there. I'm just, in there. I'm putting all this stuff away at the gym. I'm, just voluntarily, I just want to stay in that atmosphere. And so, that's when, after a couple months went by, they was like, yo, man, it seemed like you really love this. Like, you get your certification, I'll give you a job here. And so I'm like, listen, you telling me I could be here and get paid? Say no more. So I just, got my cert.
They saw all their plates getting put back by themselves. Like
that's what it was.
Weights, they're like, we gotta talk to this kid.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was putting your re-racking your weights. That's all it was.
My first job at a trainer was at Synergy in New York City. I think it was on 92nd and 2nd. And the owners there were sketchy and they treated me terribly. I was a meat bag for them. They're like, just do stuff for us. I wasn't even a trainer. The second job I got was at New York Sports Club on 86th in Lexington. It was a 4-story gym, and there had to have been several thousand people going through this door every single day. I was a floor trainer. Dude, I had to have put away tens of thousands of pounds of weight every single day.
That's
and
crazy.
Every single one of my fingertips were purple because you just like pick up plates, like, you're picking up plates, you wedge them in between. You're just like, fuck. You put away dumbbells, you always just pinch them. I mean, dude, the starting days of being a trainer are still some of my fondest memories and some of the hardest memories. But it started exactly saying what you're doing. You're just like putting away weights. I'm not even a trainer. I'm just a weight rearranger. Yeah. And then eventually people see you enough times. They're like, they see your big arms putting away the weights. You're like, all right, maybe I'll train with that guy.
Yep.
First ever client, I think Elise was her name, was my first ever client. I had no clue what I was doing. I was just like, I would watch the other trainers do what they were doing, and then I would try to put her through like a bodybuilding routine. And she's just like, this is really hard. And I was like, but this is what Arnold does. And this is what you need to do. This is
you want to win. You want to win.
What are you even here for? Are you going to get up on the stage and win or what? Come on, Elise.
Oh my goodness.
Such a different approach now. So I'm assuming you started out as a personal trainer before you got into dance, because Zumba was probably your first introduction to dance class, right?
Yep. 100%. Yep.
And you did that for several years, but tell me more about how it seems like you have a dance program and you were touring around doing that kind of stuff. Like, when did you formulate your own version, or is it just tell us about that?
Build up about 5 different countries you're about to tour, or how did those get put in place before that whole setup?
Yeah, so actually, so when I became a Zumba instructor, that was in 2013. And so I remember, when I first started, I was just like, teaching out at Anytime Fitness out here in Violin. And, the class started getting buzz. It started, really blowing up and getting big. And so people would start asking me, like, in the tri-state, hey, why don't you come here and do a class? And so at that time, I'm so like, the owner told me I'm only allowed to teach here. So I'm only teaching here. So, people had to start like, Nate, it's cool. Like, you can do events at other places. It's fine. They're not going to fire you if you I wound up, I would do like, other places that was tri-state. And so then this lady, her name was Gina, she was like, Nate, you got to see these guys. They remind me so much of you. And I think that you will get inspired. And so she paid for me to go to an event. It was these 2 guys that they were these big old, like, just black shredded dudes that you would think like it was almost a Magic Mike type event. Like, people paid, they had a crowd of 500 people. Everybody paid $50 a ticket, and they did basically a Zumba masterclass. So I'm getting there and I'm looking at them and I'm like, that's literally what my class looks like every night, like when I teach locally. And they got a whole crowd that just paid this much. So I'm just like, so now I'm inspired. I'm like, whoa, like I started talking to these guys and they're like, yeah, we done been to Russia. We done been here. We done been there. So now my mind's expanded on the possibilities. So I start setting goals. I start, writing down every single day. I'm going to be an international dance fitness instructor. I start writing it down. And I started, out of my own pocket. I'm like, well, starting this thing off, nobody knows me besides this area. So I just started, every time I seen an event, somebody's name I knew, I would pay myself to go there. And then I would just dance my heart out in the crowd and be like, hey, maybe they might call me out on stage, and call it fate or whatever. Every time I did that, somehow they would call me up and be like, hey, you want to do a song? So I would get one song, or I would get whatever.
They let you up on stage?
Yep, they'll let me up on stage, and
Star power.
I would either, dance, because they didn't know me. They just saw me like, yo, this dude's dancing his heart out in the crowd. So they would call me up to either do one song behind them or let me do a song. And so what I did was, I didn't know
You do your own material at their show,
like to do like one of my choreographies, basically. Yeah. So
hell yeah, dude, they probably want to steal his moves.
yeah, it was dope. So for me, I was the type that, like, the CEO of Zumba, it's kind of like one of those situations where he ain't responded to nobody. This dude, is big as heck. So I sent him a video every single day. Every single day.
My man, I love this approach.
And yeah, I just was like, look, you may not ever see it, but ain't nothing going to stop me from, the effort that I put in to show you how hungry I am. And so one day I got a tri-state event that's about to come up, and I get a ding on my phone, and all he sends me back is, what's your email? And so I send my email to him, and then basically I get this email that is like, I want to have a meeting with you they have this Zumba convention that they do every year. So I wound up having a meeting with him. He's like, I want to fly you to Miami, and you're going to basically perform in front of there's 3 CEOs. You're going to perform in front of us, and we're going to have a class for you, and we want to see how you do. So I went there and basically turned it up. And so the people coming out the class, man, can he come every Friday? Can he come every week? Type of deal. So it went really good. So he winds up, being like, listen, we want to make you one of the, like, basically a face of the program. And, so from there, I started getting hit up from people. Hey, come to Nicaragua. So I done traveled to over 13 countries since then, performed did tours, but as of recently, COVID messed up a lot of that, and it messed everything up. So I got to the point where I reached the pinnacle with Zumba, and I was appreciative because they launched my career and they really helped me out. 2022, the beginning of that year, I made a decision that, I kind of want to, I met people along the way that were influencers and that were, people who branded themselves. And I just seen that with Zumba, I have nothing but love and admiration for Zumba, because I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for them and everything they've done for me. But I got that entrepreneurial spirit where it's like, I just thinking bigger type of deal. And I've met people that, financially, who branded themselves and what they've been able to do, they were on a whole different level than kind of where I was at. So being able to meet some of these people, it really gave me more goals, more things to shoot after. So the beginning of 2022, I stepped down from my position with Zumba to pursue more so my own thing. Like, I want to go out here and I want to brand Nate. I want to brand, with what I'm doing. And I want to go out there and show that, my name, at the end of the day, when I step on a stage and I do, my thing, it's still me. It's still me, that's doing it. So, it was scary because I was in a very comfortable place with Zumba, but I believe you can't grow in your comfort zone. So you got to do things that is going to challenge you mentally, physically, and all that. And so that's the kind of jump that I made. And, doors, I'm not going to be like, hey, yo, smooth selling. It hasn't been smooth selling, but doors have been opening. And, I got the same mindset. Just keep grinding, keep that foot on the gas pedal, and just keep, learning from the past, basically.
Dude, that exact position that you're talking about right now changed my life. I lost everything during COVID. I was getting paid well, flown around the world, competing at a high level. Much what you're saying, like, you're getting to travel for your work. People with big companies are really putting you in front of the world because they see your potential. And it's a partnership. It's like, both people are benefiting from it in this situation. COVID hit, I lost everything. So it was a little bit more forced than your situation. I wrote one of the CEOs of the company a couple days ago, and I said to him, I was originally pretty upset with you in the way that everything went down when we separated, because it felt like so cold, and
Yeah.
just it was a tough place to be in. And I recognize now that it was an immature response to a situation that you were also going through too. But if it wasn't for the fact that you let me go, I would never be where I am today, because it forced me to go launch my own business with Builder. Dude, it, this isn't meant to be bragging, but we most days are selling more in product than I made in a month with that company.
God.
And I never, ever would have thought that. And I'm not saying like I didn't get into this to get rich. It was because it was a passion
Yeah.
of mine. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, man, I really love supplements. I love it. Every single one of these books over here is on sports nutrition, training, everything. And it was because of these moments. And if you don't take these leaps and put yourself in that area where, it's kind of like walking out of the house in the freezing cold without a jacket. Like, you're just going to have this moment where you're going to have to run hard and figure it out and just get through that gap to the next place. And you're going to have to hustle so hard, or you're going to fall apart in the process of it.
Yep.
I have to do that every single day. I run out of the front door and I got to go around to the side of the house to get to the sauna, and I hustle as hard as I can. And it just reminds me, I'm like, this grind is real, but there's something good on the other side of it. But honestly, man, I'm proud of you. I think that's one of those kind of things where most people don't have the courage to leave this, hot tub of just feeling comfortable,
Good.
and you got to, dude. Otherwise, you'll always be in that hot tub, but it'll be somebody else's hot tub. They control the temperature. They can shut it off. They can tell you when to get out. So if you take control and you own your shit, man, that's going to be a big place. And I can't wait to watch where you're going.
No, thank you. And I will say, that is one of the, of course, joining your program and everything for the competition's sake, but I believe that you are who you surround yourself with. And so when I first started getting into learning about these competitions and all this other stuff, my mindset always is, who's the best? I want to, you can't, there's no way you can say that you want to improve or get better if you're not learning from the best. And so I went straight to YouTube. I started looking it up. I started doing my research, and I kept seeing Hunter, won this. And so, I started studying before I even joined, the program and everything. I just started just studying what you've done, what you accomplished, everything. And I'm the type that I always try to be a student. I feel like the moment you stop learning, is when you're dying, and you're not growing. And so I try to find people that I can model after, and that's especially in many ways, more than just the competing wise and stuff like that. You're a person towards me that I feel like is an example to me that I can model after, and not just a competition, but business and things of that nature. So I'm always grateful and thankful for your leadership, for sure.
Yeah, dude, networking is one of the kind of things where no matter where you end up, there's always somebody who's a little bit bigger than you.
Yeah.
And you got to keep on making those calls. I mean, dude, every single day I'm reaching out and I'm calling people, even if I don't know them. There's a woman who owns a supplement company that we'll probably beat in the next 6 months. But I'm reaching out to her, just being like, can I just talk to you? I just would love to learn. I'd love to learn. I don't think she wants to pick up my phone call because she considers me competition. But in reality, it is nothing to do with the fact that I'm trying to pull out the rug out from underneath you. I would like to know how you got to stand where you're at right now. It's it's just an important thing. And man, always put yourself in positions. Don't ever lose that energy where you're reaching out to CEOs of Zumba and stuff like that, because eventually, that's exactly how I started my career. I used to email every single person that I looked up to until they would try to answer me. And 9 times out of 10, no one would answer.
Yeah.
They never do. But when you finally do get that meeting, it's a game changer.
Yep.
And look where you ended up.
That's so true.
So true. Let's start talking about the sexy stuff. Tell me about what you're doing now. Tell me about the training you're doing. Tell me about the competitions you're doing.
Yeah.
Tell me some of the big ambitions and goals. We want to hear about what's the command and conquer for Nate this year.
Yeah. So the now when it comes to the competition world, the number one race that I'm that I'm personally focused on is me and another guy that's in this program. He's like my best friend. His name's Roberto Rivera. We're going for first place in the Deca World Tag Team Deca Strong Championship.
Yeah.
That's the number one goal. So
What's the distance?
So it's basically the Deca Strong race. It's the 10 obstacles, but
Yep.
they just made it this year where you can do the Deca Strong, the one that has actually no running in it. So you could do just the 10 obstacles and split it up with a partner.
Yep.
So we last year, first year's racing and stuff like that, we wound up getting 6 at the World Championship with the 500 meters in between.
It's a totally different game.
Yeah, we ain't runners. Like we're, this program has helped a lot with the running and everything. Yep. But I'm like, you give us something where we can now come into our field, our strength, where we take the running out. Yeah, it's a whole different ball game now. We just did a simulation on Saturday, and just off of the simulation, we almost broke the number one time that
really?
That's out there. So we like,
how long did it take you? 5-6 minutes?
So the number one time for the tag team was so far is 9:19. We hit a 9:55.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So wait a second. Go on the
so
row with me.
You do all right. So it's the 30 reverse lunges with the ram. It's the 500 meters with the rower.
Yep.
It's the 20 box step overs. It's the 25 sit-ups with the medicine ball. 500 meter ski erg. You got the 100-meter farmer carry. You have the
assault bike.
Assault bike for 25 calories. The ball over shoulder for 20. The 100 push and pull with the sled, and then the 20 burpees with the ram.
Now, does somebody have to do a certain amount of work, or you can break it up however you want?
We can break it up however we want. So that's where we really broke it down. What we did Saturday was basically we did a simulation where I kind of like mapped out our strengths and basically to where we can get enough recovery so that we can stay at that that high volume pace basically. So the transitions that we had, it may need a little bit of fine tuning, but it was pretty almost spot on to where we could push almost max, very high effort the whole time and get it. Cause it's when you're doing that type of work, you may need 30 seconds to just, catch your breath a little bit or even less to keep that intensity level up. So it was a really good flow. So we went through the whole thing twice basically on Saturday.
If I was going to do it, I would do lunges exclusively for one person.
Yep.
Next person would exclusively do the rowing because it's going to be hard on the transition. The step overs, you guys could probably switch out if you need to, but I'd probably, what's the next station?
Then it's the sit-ups. So we did one person on that one.
Yep. And then you guys should split the ski in half.
That's what we did.
Someone should do 300 and then 200. Okay. And then what's the next station?
Then the farmer carries.
Farmer carries, you guys could. It's how many lengths is it?
So it's 100 meters basically. So what we did, because I know at a lot of the races, if you do a local one, they have it where you go back and forth. But at the races normally where you do the tag teams, they have it it's a path. So you can't really split on that one. It's one person kind of has to. So we did it where he did the farmer carry, and then I knocked out the 25 cows on the bike basically.
Yep, that's good. I mean, if you can get on the bike and you can knock out those 25 cals in under 30 seconds.
I did. I did. Literally, I was right at 30 seconds when I knocked that out.
That should be your goal. And then the next movement's the burpees or the
sled? The next one is the ball over the shoulder.
Yeah. How many of those? 10?
So 15? So it's 20 reps on that.
Ooh. So you guys do 10 and 10?
So we when I got done the bike, he did all 20 on those, and then we did 1-1-1 on the sled. So every sled, we split it up 1-1-1, and then we did the burpees 10 and 10. So the last person, so I got done the sled the last, and then he went right to the burpees for 10, and then I went right to the burpees right after that and finished it off.
The best way to train for this, and I have some of my clients do it, is 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off on a ski erg or a rower, and you can do assault bike too. Because in reality, what you need to do is Tabata, scientifically, they say it's the best way to develop anaerobic and aerobic at the same time. But it's one of those kind of scientific things that in the lab, it looks good, but in practicality, it doesn't make sense. But the 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off will challenge your endurance and stamina and strength at the same time. you guys should try to do that where you're doing probably like 10 to 15 rounds of 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, of like your partner kills themselves for 2 rounds and you kill yourself for 2 rounds, and you're jogging in between just to keep your body moving.
Yeah.
Or just staying on a different station and keeping your body moving. And that's something that I would do, because none of those movements in themselves are so uniquely difficult that you need to practice that technique. All
Yeah.
you need to do is practice horsepower.
That's so true. Yeah.
So if you can, dude, like that's something that I would train with your partner once a week.
Perfect. That's it.
Yeah.
No more.
And you can
No
switch
more.
machines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, the thing that I've recognized is just most people need to train power output,
Yes.
and everything from there is a division of power output. So if your power output over 30 seconds is 1,000 watts, over a minute it will probably drop down to like 700 watts, and over 10 minutes it will drop down to 500 watts, over 20
Yeah.
minutes it will drop down to 300, over an hour you can hold 200. But if you at the top end don't have a really good, like you're never going to be the number one guy in the world like these power lifters,
Yes.
but you can be as strong as you possibly can. Everything else will divide off of that, a fraction of it. So basically, start there, dude. When's your next competition?
So the next one, we're going to do some individual ones coming up in the summer, but the next team one we're doing is
November?
not until August.
August?
Yeah, it's going to be August 26th.
You need to start now then.
Yeah.
You need to start now then, because you guys should probably go through a 3-month power block. So you're looking at April to May, May to June, June to July, and you guys need to start doing sports specific stuff. But that would be, I can write you up a list of the things that I would suggest, because I love the fact that you represent House and you do your own thing obviously also. So I'd love to see you guys get that record and beat everybody.
Like I said, anything that you recommend, I'm on it 100%.
Yeah, because that event's not designed for athletes that are endurance athletes. Like you have to have a power ability like you and your partner have. And once you get that up there and then you just train specificity,
yes,
good.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Good for you, man. Yeah. I'm in the middle of, I got 6 weeks left. This is my 6th week out thing right now. And my body is beat to all hell. I've been training my ass off. I don't know, Ryan, if you can go to Strava, Hunter McIntyre. Let's see if you can bring up some of the training I did last week. I'll show you guys some of the stuff that we've been doing. And, I don't know where you're going to be at, but dude, if you want to drop in, we're here for the next four weeks. And if you want to drop in at all, come train at all. We'd love to have you up at the house. It's open kind of business. But at this point, we're going to start wrapping up the show. Is there anything that you want to share with the listeners that kind of connect with you at a higher level? Because I think you're an incredibly interesting and authentic person that I really would like to see your brand grow and be able to watch you accomplish everything that you're kind of aiming for. So if we can be a vessel for that, dude, share it now and we'll keep on pushing it.
Yeah, no, and I definitely appreciate that, and really it's just I'm just want to be that example of, listen, man, ain't nothing special about me. I'm just a person that I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up, and my goal is just to use my platform to motivate, inspire as many people to do the same thing. To listen, to go after it. We might fail, we might mess up, X, Y, and Z. It is what it is. I've done look stupid half my life, and I don't care. It is what it is.
Outshine them with the rest of your days, dude.
Exactly. So every goal, every ambition, you're always going to see, me go after it with everything that I got, and full commitment type of deal. So that's it. Just follow the journey and hope that it inspires you for sure.
Hell yeah, man. So what I promised at the beginning of this show was that I was going to give away Builder. Nate, we're going to send you some. Cameron, if you're still on the show, if you send an email to Hunter, sorry, not Hunter.
House
send
training
an email
at huntermcintyre.com.
Yeah, send it one to that, whatever he said. House training at huntermcintyre.com.
That's
That'll probably be the easiest. Ryan's the one who's going to end up dealing with this.
The guy, man.
Yeah. Dude, look at this. You got a fan, Alonzo. Yeah. So Cameron, whatever we just sent you, email that and we will make sure to get you guys some products sent out. Same for you, Nate. We'll get you some sent out. In reality, guys, we want to thank you so much for showing up to the show. We have noticed that our comments on the side are really growing. 9 times out of 10, we really want to make sure that this show is for you guys. So whatever you want, if you want to have any special guests that you'd like to have on the show, any questions that you have for our guests, guys, just put it in there. We do the Morningwood Radio because it's really just a fun way for us to connect with the fitness community. Awesome way to start off the week, inspire everybody to get shit done for the following week. We're always going to keep on showing up. So if you guys keep on giving back, we'll make sure to make sure it's an awesome experience. Nate, brother, man, much of a pleasure, dude. So awesome to get to know you on a better level.
Yes,
brother, keep on grinding and shoot me a message. I'll get you those notes.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Ryan.
Right on, right on.
Out, baby.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Hey, macho boys.
Hey.
Those pythons, dude. Those things are sick. All right, guys. I'll see you.
All right, bro.
Later.
This is the
Hey.
All right.